Like this is like everyone was like hyping up like the person who's basically like taunting him, and like the kids around him, like like, and I think that just set him off. He had this like in his mind. This is exactly what it's just like what I spoke about earlier. Like the mindset of like these kids nowadays. It's a kill to be killed mindset. You know. Sadness.
Yesterday, a student has just been charged as an adult in the case. WJZ investigator Mike Helgren live at Patterson High. He spoke to that student's family. Mike.
And Rick, they tell me that he was bullied. We just went over the statement of probable cause in this case, and authorities say they found the weapon in the courtyard. They say the victim was punctured in his chest and hip.
We get angry!
A student who stabbed his classmate at Patterson High School claims he was
I mean, my issue, like, yeah, I mean, he clearly was bullied. Like, this is like everyone was like hyping up like the person who's basically like taunting him, and like the kids around him, like like, and I think that just set him off. He had this like in his mind. This is exactly what it's just like what I spoke about earlier. Like the mindset of like these kids nowadays. It's a kill to be killed mindset. You know, especially when like you're kind of raised in like it kind of shows that these kids are not raised in like a really good home. Like not saying like like commentating too much on like culture and communities and stuff, but it just seems like the upbringing is not that well in terms of like just social upbringing. Like kids nowadays are not really taught how to be social, how to be like correct and proper when it comes to people, how to like detect when like someone's like, oh, this kid is like, he's clearly off his, like he's clearly doesn't, he clearly seems timid and like upset. Maybe I should like diffuse this situation or like assess this and leave. Like that's the best thing you could teach your kid. Like, hey, if you see like a kid like kind of like sitting back and forth tilting, he has his hands in his pocket, yeah, you don't want to be there. Or like, hey, ask him, hey man, are you okay? Like, do you need some time? Do you want someone to talk to? Because like stuff like this happens. Like this stuff doesn't just happen off the blue. It escalates. Like they've been picking on this kid nonstop, and like he just snapped.
Just before the stabbing,
he just snapped.
The footage has been shared widely on social media. The victim then runs out of the classroom. Several students witnessed the aftermath of the violence.
You just see somebody coming down the steps and he was stabbed.
How frightening was that?
I mean, it was crazy. Somebody got stabbed in school for real.
Like, look at the reaction in these kids' faces. It's not that of like sympathy or empathy. It's just like, oh man, this shit happened. Man. This shit's cool. Like, man, like this is something different in our shit. Is cool, man.
I just seen a boy come down the steps holding himself, and that's when I asked him, like, bro, you good? He just showed me that he got stabbed, went to the nurse, and that's it.
Family members of the student.
That's good, clear, concise assessment of it. Hey, you good? Nah, man, I got stabbed. You see this blood trailing down the stairs? Yeah, man, let's take it to the nurse. That sounds like the best idea. Hopefully she's working today. You know, they cut her pay. They cut her pay last week, and now she's bandaging kids with like salt and dirt.
Now charged in the stabbing, asked WJZ to conceal their identity. They said he was bullied so much that he stopped going to class for a while because of it. When he did come back to campus, relatives say he brought a knife for protection.
Bam! Bam! My assessment, right? Was that right? Should he at school? This was not something that just happened because he's a bad kid. It's something that's been fumigating and cooking in a pot until bam, he snapped. I'm grabbing the kitchen knife and I'm stabbing this dude and I'm stabbing these people. It's not really so much the single bullying, because that can be tolerated for like a long period of time. It's the like the crowds that gather around kids, like the hype mans of the action of the perpetrator. Like you see those girls laughing and like the other guy like sitting there like, oh man, look, you big man, you mad. And he's just sitting there like, oh man, after I stabbed this motherfucker, everyone else getting their throat slit. And I think like after he stopped running down the steps, like he got away, he's like, oh, I think I fucked up. This is what happens when you bottle up your emotions too much and you don't have an outlet to take it off on. Like You know, he probably plays video games, but he doesn't understand how to use video games as an outlet for his aggression. He doesn't know how to interpret his emotions. That's something like your mom and your dad is supposed to do, or you know, depending on who's raising you. Like you're a single mom, your mom actually has time for working her 8 jobs to just basically like say, hey, like I see you, like you're kind of different a little bit. Like this actually kind of was shown in on home. Like, do you want to talk about something? You know, most kids will always tell you, oh, hey, I'm not like, no, not in that way. They'd be like, no, I'm good, man. I don't want to talk. I'm good. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine means, hey, look, something's wrong with me. You know, I'm not being descriptive of, I'm being short. I'm not being really descriptive of what I'm talking about here. This is my outcry because I'm a boy and to seem like my emotions is set out, then that's an issue that makes me seem weak. Mom or dad should be like, look, you show your emotions, then you know, you can, you know, you can be relieved of some of this pain you're feeling, some of this bullying that's happening going on. Okay, let me continue on this.
He finally goes back, and now he had to defend himself against several other students that was bullying him.
The family says administrators knew about the...
It really wasn't defense. He was lashing out. It wasn't defense. He had to... his defense mechanism was his emotions dealing with the situation. That was the defending. That was the sucking it in. That was the holding in. That was the telling mom, no, I'm good. And then, you know, like basically slowly perpetuating scenarios in your head, and it's like, hey, I don't like, hey, like fuck this guy, like fuck their friends, you know, no one likes me, no one cares about me. This is how most people feel. Like most of these kids feel right now. They have every right to feel this way because look at this shitty school. Look at this shitty environment he's put up in. Look at this shitty environment. Like look at this school. Like this is like a rundown school. This is our public school systems right now. Like look at this. Like look at these old ass windows. These windows are from like the before segregation was implemented. Like this is crazy.
bullying.
They pretty much did nothing about the situation.
And they were aware of what he'd been gone through.
Yes, from the beginning of the school year.
WJZ obtained video that a source says shows the stabbing victim threatening to get even for what happened.
I live 3 states with them. And you know what that means? You know what that means? Yeah.
This is the...
So, see, now the violence has passed the point of red line. Once violence passes the point of red line, especially when it comes to kids who are emotionally unstable and don't cognitively understand consequences or repercussions, then even if they charge this kid, like it doesn't, you're just gonna throw him in the system. He's not like, there's not gonna be any change. Like this is just this is the first layer. This is the base layer. This is when all this is where gangstership and like thug out behavior all come from. I'm not saying this gangstership thugged out because, you know, they're African Americans. I'm saying that because that happens. Like, even if whatever culture you want to be, this is what happens. This is what this is like. This is the base layer. This is the epidermis. This is where all the violence that is going to be perpetuated in the future is going to come from. Maybe this kid might find an outlet in something else, like the one who did the stabbing, but the kid who doing the bullying, that this is it. Like the kid who did the bullying, who got stabbed, this solidifies, okay, the actions and violence that I perpetrated in terms of being the consequences of what I did to this kid. Now I have to one up this, because now I look bad to all the people who've been basically helping me fumigate this bullying, the campaign that I've been doing on this one kid. It doesn't make this kid that stabbed him innocent by any means. Like, he's fault too. Like, these kids are older to know, yeah, I'm stabbing, I'm killing. Now this person's like, oh, I'm gonna kill him. Why? I mean, if I got stabbed for bullying, my thing would be like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't like fuck with kids anymore. But they don't understand that. Let's finish this video.
Second Baltimore City High School student stabbed in less than a week.
Second, right? Shitty ass schools. Look at this desk. It's blurry now. Look at this shitty ass desk. Rosa Parks built this desk. There's still her etchings and bubblegums under it. Can they show?
Okay, and this is just into the WJZ newsroom. This is a mugshot.
God damn. I know I don't have a hairline, but holy fuck, dude, your hairline. What?
out of that student who has now been charged as an adult. As for the person who was stabbed, the student who was stabbed, we've been unable to make contact with him. School authorities would not go on camera for an interview, but said that no violence will be tolerated on campus. Live in
That's a bullshit
East
lie.
Baltimore, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
That's a bullshit lie. No violence will be tolerated. AKA, we don't give a fuck. We don't care. We're begging for the government grants. We don't care what happens to these kids. You do not understand. We don't get paid enough to give a fuck. We don't make private school money. Ergo, we don't have the security measures. Ergo, we don't give a fuck. We're trying our best right now to scratch and scrape to see if these kids can be fed every day. They don't care. Alright, let's do one more video and then I'll do some dotes. Alright. I forgot. Let's see. This is a real blood gang member would have jumped on the other dude. His homies fight, no bloods, one-on-one. We don't let the homies get down. We jump in and murk and make sure the other niggas don't get out. I'm actually a blood from the east side pirate. Dude, 59 3-time blood gang and don't bang. Oh my god. Oh shit. These comments are cancer. These comments are cancer. Most bullies don't know they're bullies. I was always called a bully growing up by my students and teachers. I had no clue. Yeah, that's true. I'm not gonna. Red Norris will go to jail behind a little game. Yeah. I mean, metal detector not gonna always catch a knife. I don't know. Not always gonna catch a knife. I'm just gonna say these kids already know how to way around it. Some of them are even broken. Like some metal detectors are broken. It's like they don't work. Sometimes they're just theater. Just watch one more video. Okay.